Hey girl, are your healthy habits all over the place or non-existent? Do you wish you could find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and really just talk a little nicer to yourself? If you have tried to habit hack your health, but the strategies you've tried just haven't worked for you in your busy lifestyle, then this podcast is for you. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, behavior change specialist, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I'm here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about our health and our habits. How do I know? Well, because I've transformed my own life through habit hacking, and now my family gets the best of me, and I now help my clients do the same. I'm now going to teach you how to create healthy habits in less time, guilt-free for all seasons of your life. It's not your fault your habits haven't worked, my friend. We just have to do them differently. So, are you ready to feel empowered and transform your habits and life? Then let's do this. You're listening to episode 228 of Habit Hack Your Health. Hey friend, welcome back to the show. I'm so excited because next Wednesday, the 15th, is the Healthy Habit Reset Live. I've been so excited seeing all of y'all register. Make sure you do, because I will have special access to you for an early Black Friday sale and an exclusive bonus only to those that attend the Healthy Habit Reset. So if you're like, girl, I don't know what you're talking about, let me tell you. So I host the Healthy Habit Reset Live every quarter to help you learn basic habit strategy 101 and learn my basic 5-step habit change method to help you pivot your habits for this next season of life that you are going into. I find what happens with a lot of my clients is we set some healthy habits. We're feeling really great. We're moving and grooving. We're making ourselves a priority. And then a new season of life comes and we have to start all over again. And sometimes we just don't start all over again. We just stop because it feels too overwhelming to kind of reevaluate what's working and what's not. So this method will help you do just that in a really simple, digestible way. It's just one day on Wednesday, the 15th of November at 12 p.m. Eastern live. If you can't join us live, still register because I'll send you the replay. I'll have a Facebook group as well to help us do some fun giveaways for the shop. We're just going to have some fun, and I'll have some bonus healthy habits to help you during this holiday season. So go to bit.ly/healthy habit reset or go to the link in the show notes. I know you're probably driving or your hands are wet because you're doing the dishes. Let's go. So I really wanted to talk to you all today. Sometimes I watch documentaries or read an article, and I keep a notes app open in my phone at all time of certain topics I want to talk to you all about that really inspire me and see health in a different light that I feel like you could relate to as well. So recently I just watched the documentary on Netflix, Live to 100, Secrets of the Blue Zones, okay? It explores areas of the world where people live longer, okay? And it was so interesting. And I kept thinking about how we chat in my program, the Healthy Habits Accelerator. It's my signature program. And hint, hint, this might be on a major sale and a major revamp coming that I'll tell you about during the Healthy Habit Reset Live. But we chat about in my program. You hear me say it a lot here on the show as well, how to train for life and how these folks in this documentary are doing just that. They're not saying these folks that live to 100 are doing some type of crazy diet or workout plan. They're just living their lives and training for life. And it all just really comes down to what you do every day. Healthy habits, small, tiny little habits compound over time. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming, and it can be sustainable, healthy habits that you just do in your life that can help you live a longer life. I love this concept so much. And this is why as women, we have to do habits differently, right? We think we have to do some crazy diet or workout plan when really we can get a little more creative with our healthy habits and just incorporate it within our life to help us train and live our lives. So in the documentary, they visit places like Italy, Japan, Singapore, Costa Rica, and they're interviewing just the local population, the folks that are living to 100. And they found that they all share some common denominators that I think we should take to heart if we want to train for life and live long, healthy lives. And I tell y'all, these folks were adorable and they were living their lives. They were in a nursing home. They weren't, cooped up in a bed. They were living their lives. Now, one of the first things we do inside of my program, the Healthy Habits Accelerator, is think of our why. Why do we want to take care of our health? And it can't be just surface level. It has to be deeper. And as moms, it can start with you and what you want for you, which is okay. I know it's hard to rewire our brains, but also how when you do that, it will impact your loved ones, right? And in thinking about this documentary, for me, I want to live and train for life. I want to live a long, healthy, happy life so I can be 100 and my kids don't have to take care of me or put me in a nursing home. I've seen my parents do that with their parents and how hard that was just physically on my grandparents and mentally and emotionally on my parents. So for me, my deeper why for training for life is I want to live my life, but I don't want my kids to have to take care of me someday and to see the heartbreak sometimes that happens with that. So I want to talk about some of my takeaways, some of the things I saw these folks doing in this documentary. And of course, we're going to focus on our fundamental needs, mindset, movement, and food freedom, because I saw these themes that we discuss in my programs and that we talk about every week here on the show. And like I said, they're not doing anything crazy or unsustainable. These are things they're doing throughout their life. So I'm going to point out these things that I saw, and we can chat about this a little bit further inside of my program when you come join us. So first thing I noticed was movement. Okay, they were using nature's gym. They were getting outside. They were walking. They lived in communities where they didn't drive. They walked a lot, right? So that was just something naturally they did every day for exercise. There were a lot of folks gardening. That was just part of their culture and their lifestyle to garden. And we saw these older folks still working their gardens. And that is hard work. My husband plants a garden every year. He loves it. He saw his grandparents garden. His mom still gardens as well. I'm terrible at it, to tell you the truth. But I'm like, gosh, I could see this as, I go into an older stage of my life as something like, wow, this would be really good for my health. And it's really easy movement. You're getting like the awesome food from it too, right? Another thing they noticed, especially in Japan, there was a lot of sitting on the floor and getting up from the floor. Gosh, this hit me so much because I talk about this all the time. But I'm teaching a class and I see folks, and I tell them this on the mic. You have to get down on the floor and do some type of movement, and you have to get yourself back off the floor. I'm always saying, folks, this is functional fitness. As you get older, if you get down on the floor, you need to be able to get yourself back off the floor. So in some cultures, they just sit on the floor and they're naturally getting up and off the floor. Like these folks who were 100 were getting right up off the floor. Now, granted, they weren't just popping right up, but they had the mobility and the strength to be able to do so. And that just made me so excited because, y'all, I talk about this in my class. If you are one of my Orange Theory members, or if you've ever taken a virtual class with me, you have probably heard me say this. This is training for life. I also saw in regards to food freedom, they're eating whole foods. In a lot of these communities, they were gardening. So they were eating, the produce that they grew. So there was a real focus and culturally eating, foods that they garden, but also foods that are whole. Fruits, vegetables, things that come from the ground and not from a box. There's something to say about it. And also a lot of folks were plant-based as well. Now, I'm not saying you have to be like 100% plant-based. I personally am not. But I feel like it's important to think, well, how can I incorporate more plants into my life and get those natural vitamins and antioxidants and nutrients from the ground instead of a box? I love it so much. That's training for life. And lastly, mindset. So a lot of them, they lived in communities with others. That's why you see all these folks going to like big retirement communities and the fun activities they were doing. It wasn't like where you go and, you are in a nursing home and you're by yourself. And I understand that's a totally different situation. And trust me, I'm so empathetic to it because I've seen my grandparents have to go into nursing homes because there was no other choice for my family. But these folks were living in communities with others. Next, it was the caregiving of the elders. It was really in their culture where the older generation moved in with the younger generation and they took care of them. Now, like I said, I'm very empathetic and sympathetic that sometimes that can't always be the case, but in these cultures, that was just part of what they did. And lastly, they had a purpose, right? They kept bringing up that they had a purpose to life. They weren't just getting up and like scrolling like social media. They were getting up and connecting with others. They were getting out and gardening and moving their bodies and had such a purpose for everyday living and not living for just the day to day. They were living for their lives. And that is training for life, my friends. But, those are just some easy, healthy habits they do throughout their day. It's part of their lifestyle. And that's what I want to help you all get to when you're creating habits. We create them in such a unique way because as women, we have to do habits differently. And this is training for life, exactly what these folks are doing. So I would highly encourage you to go watch this documentary on Netflix. If you are able, just Live to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zones. So if you're like, what are the blue zones? It's like an area, if you look at a map, it's like the areas in blue where folks were living to 100, essentially. I guess I should have led with that, but y'all know. Squirrel, that's how I be sometimes. But my biggest takeaway from this documentary that I want you to take to heart as well. Most importantly, having a long life, living to 100 is to live a happy and fulfilled life. And in my heart of hearts, your health can help you do just that. If you don't have your health, nothing else will matter. I'll say it again. If you don't have your health, nothing else matters. And I can attest, when you are taking care of yourself, you will live a long and fulfilled, happy life because you will put yourself and your health first. So go watch it. I think it will really help you rethink your healthy habits and training for life. I love this so much. Folks, I still have a couple of one-on-one spots open for the rest of the year. If you want to hop on a habit hacking call, I would love to chat with you and find out how I can help you uniquely put some healthy habits inserted into your life that eventually become things you don't even have to think about anymore, which is what we want to get to, and just see it as training for life and living your best life. It's always linked in the show notes for you. All right, girl. Thank you so much for listening. Let me know if you watched this documentary. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I talk with a lot of y'all in the DMs and Instagram. You can find me at Emily Nichols too. I'll catch up with you later this week for Habit Hack Thursday. Hey girl, real quick before you go, did you know I have a secret podcast where I talk all about why most habit strategies don't work for us women? Spoiler alert, it's not our fault. Visit bit.ly/Atomic Habits for Women. It's linked in the show notes to access my secret podcast series and have your biggest aha moment about why and how women have to do habits differently. And if you love the podcast, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can find the show. Love and appreciate you, friend. We'll see you next time.